recording and you're sitting, so you have to do something. And it was like, oh, 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 oh. And that's the only thing it does in that song, and the song is beautiful.
Biz Ni Biz. Biz Ni Biz na Biz Ni Biz.
Welcome you all to the PAWAful People Podcast, where we feature personalities making meaningful contributions to the art scene and the cultural industry in Kenya from the PAWA community. Today we have a special guest who is launching his debut album on the 26th of this month, 26th of February, on Sunday. His name is Javan Omondi Ofula, aka Javan The Poet.
Yeah.
Javan,
Yeah.
how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
I love it when people say, especially artists, when they say they're feeling easy, because I know there's a vibe there. And it's going to flow.
Yeah. Of course, at some point, the pressure will be out, but I'm feeling easy.
You're feeling easy.
Yeah.
I know that this is a very special thing for you, your debut album. For any artist, their first album is usually an offering. It's a chance or an opportunity to prove yourself.
Yeah.
If there's anything to prove at all. So I remember meeting you first in 2018 at the Imagine Voices program at Power 254.
Yep.
Is that where it all started, or it started much earlier?
I think it started much earlier. I have been a poetry lover and a literature lover since my junior schooling in primary. But I really loved to write and do debates and all that. But then eventually I decided to start performing. I am originally a rapper.
You're originally a rapper,
Yeah.
but you also do spoken word poetry.
Exactly.
Okay.
The reason I started doing poetry is my rap was good, but I felt like I was leaving a bunch of people out who could not really listen to the rap and the rap style. Especially the older people would say, slow down, I can't get you. So then I said, okay, I'm gonna repackage whatever the content I'm putting out in poetry form and see how it works. And people are like, yeah, some more poetry, and yeah.
You have mentioned older people, and you hail from the hip-hop city of Nairobi.
Dandara, home of Koflani Mau Mau. Yeah.
What have these groups done for you? What influence have they had on your music?
One, they've had the most basic influence because I have like literally all the albums done, or from Ukoflani Mau Mau, all the Koflani Mau Mau artists. I have the albums, and that's like on top of my playlist every other day. And they made me really relate to arts and just speaking about our daily life. But then I thought, also because there's always transition and change of times, what is it that I'm going to do differently? And that comes out of also the people that we've seen come before us. Even in the Ukoflani Mau Mau fraternity, they all didn't do the same style. It was the Ukoflani Mau Mau family, but they had different factions in between, or other different mini groups that did things differently. So I was also like, okay, we're going to keep the culture alive, but I'm gonna soup it up.
You're gonna soup it up.
Yeah.
And before we get into the album, you also do other things like event organizing.
Yes.
You're also a social justice advocate.
Yes.
Where does your music, your spoken word poetry meet your activism? I understand that you organize from Dandora Community Center.
Yeah. Basically, my arts, my poetry, my rap is simply my way of expressing myself, and that means I am able to express myself any day, anywhere. In my business world, in my leadership world, in my activism world, artist is the common denominator. So then I use it to speak what I think. I use it to bring people to the spaces that I have conversation that are very important, and not just me, also bring other artists and other people, because this is a very powerful tool that is way proven able to cut across generations and conversations.
Okay, so ukiteremka mtaa huko, whenever there's a convening or there's a community dialogue, it's very easy for you to just drop a verse pale and watu relate nayo
kabisa. And the one thing that I've seen happen, it's not even me dropping a verse, it's me being there, and every other artist feels like we are home. We can express ourselves kwa ile njia tunajua. Kila mtu anaweza kama pige piece yake, kama kuna mic rappers will rap, kama kuna dancers they'll dance, and you see we correlate, so it's an easy vibe.
Nice. Vibe. Your album, Biz Ni Biz.
Yes.
I am really tempted to ask you about the title track, but I don't want you to start with the title track.
Okay.
Nataka uanze na Yele Yele.
Yele Yele.
Yeah.
Okay. Yele Yele came out of a project that we did with Power. It was like part of something that came out of a project that we did with Power that was called Sauti Jasiri, and the albums were called Sauti ya Mtaa. So there was Sauti ya Mtaa Dandora, Sauti ya Mtaa Kayole, and Sauti ya Mtaa Mokuru. So we were to do albums. But then when we were doing albums, and everyone was easy doing album in Swahili, people wanted even to do English. Personally, I was really disturbed by us not bringing our innate being. Yani, mi ni Mjaluo. My culture is very beautiful, very rich. Mbona, why is it not pronounced? So then I said, okay, first things first, I'm not going to do poetry, I'm not going to rap, I'm gonna try to sing. And I'm going to try to sing in the Luo. So that's the mchimbuko of Yele Yele. And Yele Yele basically talks about where we were before, the beautiful world before colonization, the beautiful world before corruption, the beautiful world before pollution. So that's what it talks about, and I've featured Abu Dhabi, Tembekali.
Nice. Yeah. Abu Dhabi, Tembekali. You also feature him in another song.
Yes, Mkenya na Cry.
Yeah.
And Mkenya na Cry basically is just Kenyans are not in a good position. We are wailing, we are crying.
Yes.
Life is hard, and I think it's even harder. When we did the song, it wasn't this hard. So yeah, Mkenya na Cry.
I remember you writing somewhere that part of the program during the launch will be to take stock of the first 100 years of the youth.
Yes.
Of the regime in power.
Yeah. And now that this goes back to what you are asking about, what my art does to spaces that I am in. So in this particular space, we are doing the album launch. However, I want people to also speak about now the new regime. The MC could pass on the mic to whoever is ready to speak and just express themselves. What do you think is working? What is not working? What can be done better? What is your role as an individual? Because also I think it's not necessarily or purely about the leadership, but also about us, because we have the best constitution so far that is not working. But we have to keep reminding ourselves and those in power that you have to do something. So my album will also be a space to have such conversations.
Nice. Language is a conveyor of culture, and there are songs that you featured artists who speak other languages. There's French.
Yes.
Then is it Arabic?
Yes.
What was your experience in co-creating with these artists? Let's start with the French.
Very interesting. First of all, how the song Safari Shua came to be. I was doing an event in Dandora, and guys, people pop up for events, and there are these two strange white men in the event, and they're like, yo, I know this person, so this person told me there's this event, so I came, and my friend is an artist, and I'm like, yo, if your friend is an artist, then they are also invited to perform. But then before he performed, I was performing, and then he's like, okay, but I do all my music in French. I don't know if it makes sense, but I was like, don't worry, it's music, you do your thing. But after that, he was like, I also loved your vibe. Can we go to a studio before I leave the country, and we put out a project? So that's how Safari Shua came to be, and simply it was a song about the journey that we are all in, and Safari Shua is like, one, talking to myself and every other person, that you don't give up. There's something at the end. The journey will end somewhere with something very sure. And the song is basically done by three people. Me doing the Swahili verse, Neris doing the French verse and the hook. And then there's now the guy that really brought us together is called Bryce.
Yeah.
Is not an artist, but we were like, yo, we are recording and you're sitting, so you have to do something. And he was like, oh. And that's the only thing he does in that song, and the song is beautiful.
It became a vibe. Yeah. Nice. The one with Anataban, the collaboration with Anataban from Sudan.
Yes, that came out of
First, the title of the song, please.
Africa. Yes, Africa. So the song was titled Africa because at that point we were connecting. The song came out of a concert called Zinduka Festival. Zinduka Festival is a concert that brings artists within the East African region. So it happened in Uganda, and I was there, and we met, and we were like just brothers and sisters. Without borders, and then we said One Africa, Azania, and that's the title. And it was also very interesting to work, one, with people you've just met, two, with people that are also struggling from their different countries, and you're connecting struggles, and three, doing an international collaboration. For me, that was like the first international collaboration, because I'd not done it before, and it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. A very meaningful contribution to culture and the arts. So I've only asked you about the songs I wanted you to talk about. Now let me give you a chance to talk about the songs you really want to talk about.
Okay, I'll talk about Biz Ni Biz, that also doubles up as the title of the album. Biz Ni Biz simply is business is business. I am a believer of small things build up to something, and we youths, we the young people, our biggest issue or other problem is lack of employment, lack of financial freedom, and I have been in that space, still in that space, that I'm not entirely financially free, but I think there is a possibility in connecting dots. Kuuza njugu, kuuza lollipop, kuuza, najua napenda lollipop. Kuuza whatever it is that you can sell fast, because I've realized many times we all look at what is very far before we look at what we have. So I was just saying, Biz Ni Biz, do something, just be creative and sell something.
Sell something,
and survive out of it before we find the biggest solution that we all want. So Biz Ni Biz is like my signature song, like keeps me going. I want to talk about another piece called Mama, like it's the last one. It's one of those very new things that I do in the album. Like I've never sung. It's entirely a song, like entirely singing, entirely giving my mom the praises, the thanks, and every other mom needs to feel the same. And it's a big one for me. And then there's a Nialeo. Nialeo was a piece dedicated to people who go to different countries and different spaces to look for jobs, but they end up being exploited. For example, the issue of Kenyans in Saudi Arabia, Kenyans in Asia. So when I was saying Nialeo, I was talking about the kind of human trafficking happening, but packaged differently. People are told that you're going to get job, but one, you're being exploited. So it's just Nialeo is like you go to the market and they tell you, ingo Nialeo, Niasai. So business happens and then you realize, Nialeo, something is, it's just packaging. Yeah.
So Nialeo is about work immigration.
Exactly. And then just telling people to do due diligence before when the could do everything right. Otherwise, we just buried a very young lady. Not buried, rather we lost a very young lady, Joyce. Her story is all over the media. She comes from Dandora. She went to Asia too, and she got really injured, and she came back. She couldn't walk, she couldn't talk, and she's gone now.
Yeah.
So that's Nialeo.
Nialeo is for me, it's a very relevant song because I also have people who are outside of the country for work.
Yeah.
And whenever our sisters come back in that state or in coffins, it's not a very
Rosy.
good it's not a very good thing to see. So
and many more are still going. Like so many more are still going. Many more are still lined out there to go.
What? Okay, we should really take stock of the regime.
Yes, we should.
We should, yeah.
We should.
Okay, those are not 13 tracks we've talked about.
There's so many tracks.
There's so many. Do you want to talk about all of them?
I would love to talk about Toto Alalibai. Toto Alalibai is a piece that I did back to back with Nialeo, and Toto Alalibai is also about child exploitation, and not necessarily child exploitation, but also sexual exploitation, where we've seen kids being exploited by elderly people older than them with fake promises and all that. So I kind of had to write something about that so that they find themselves and even give them hope, because I know people get trapped because they feel like, I need to get this from you to get this back, but that is not a must. Yes, that is Toto Lullaby. The other track is why are they sleeping me? I think the other great track or rather piece in is Killer Breed.
Killer Breed, yeah.
Killer Breed talks about extrajudicial killings. Many people are still dying. And that now brings me to why 26th of February, Black History Month. The album launch is dedicated to Pio Gama Pinto, JM Karaoke, Tomboy, the likes, the people who are executed, and many other people, many other young people are being executed. And no justice is really happening. Yeah. So the album launch day is dedicated to Black History Month and to the memory of Pio Gama Pinto, whom we lost on the 24th of February 1965.
Yeah. Wonderful. I have a question about this album.
Yeah.
And it's a very personal question because you are giving an offering to people. You're talking about people's challenges. They're also yours, but really you're presenting it as a collective issue.
Yeah.
What is the emotional cost of that? Like, how does it take a toll on your mental health? Does it affect you in any way? Because speaking about extrajudicial killings, speaking about child trafficking and child labor, speaking about work immigration is not easy. These are topics that are really exhausting to even think about.
Yes, it does. But I've also learned to kind of overcome it. I'm part of a group of creatives who are championing for mental health awareness and mental health, spaces that are conducive and good for us. And I had to do that intentionally because we realized that these things are taking a toll on us, because one, it's whatever we are doing, whatever the album is doing, before it's out there, it's a documentation, and for me all of it is in my system. What it means is I might be undergoing issues that I don't know, but I've also seen over time that I have a lot of bitterness, especially with what is happening with losing people, justice not being served. But I'm happy that it is said and it has been confirmed that problem shared is half solved. So putting it out there is like also sharing my burden with the world and with the people around me. So maybe we find a solution together. So the toll is there, but equally it is helpful because I'm putting it out there. We're getting to talk about it and find solutions together, but also just open to mental wellness conversation.
Nice. So it's all about sharing.
Yes.
And breaking bread.
Yeah.
Nice. It's been wonderful to have you here at the PAWAful People Podcast.
Yeah.
Javan The Poet launching his debut album, Biz Ni Biz, 26th February, Black History Month,
Yes.
2023.
Nairobi Gallery, Kenyatta Avenue.
Biz Ni Biz. Biz Ni Biz na Biz Ni Biz. Nauza toba unauza ni buy, nauza toba unauza